Hey, what's up guys, Luckz here bringing you a new video, and today we're going to be taking a look at LEGO set 21154. The Blaze Bridge comes with 372 pieces and retail for $30 in the US. This is a 2019 set that I didn't end up picking up, but you know, I never know when these sets are going to retire anymore, so decided to pick it up from my most recent haul. And yeah, we're going to be taking a closer look at this. So without further ado, let's build this up. And here we have it, the complete build now. As we do, we're going to be taking a close look at what it includes, little details, and obviously what are my overall thoughts on it. But first off, as always, we're going to start off with the minifigures. Alright, first off here we have Alex. Now this Alex comes with a diamond sword and a diamond pickaxe accessory, along with a diamond chest plate and diamond leggings as well. This Alex doesn't have anything unique to it. Obviously the armor, you can argue that, but it's been the same Alex, same skin we've been getting, just as much as Steve recently. So yeah, no need to really take a look at the printing below, because if you've seen one Alex, you've seen it all. This Alex in particular has some pretty light printing on the face. You can see a little bit of the orange coming through, but besides that, the printing seems pretty fine. Maybe a little off if you really take a close look at it, but overall it's a pretty fine figure. If you don't have an Alex, then you know it's a pretty good inclusion in the set. If you have 50 already like me, then you know, another Alex, but some decent armor pieces. Now moving on. Next up here we have the Wither Skeleton. Now this uses the regular skeleton body, just in black, and obviously those extended Wither Skeleton legs, I want to say they were introduced in LEGO Minecraft, the longer legs for skeletons, but don't quote me on that. This is a very good figure, obviously very reminiscent of the actual version in the game, as Minecraft's obviously always tries to portray. The front is where you get the most detail, and it's pretty good and accurate. Of course, he comes with a stone sword, as all Wither Skeletons spawn in with, so yeah, pretty neat figure, makes sense. It is a nether fortress, so they do spawn in this area, and yeah, good inclusion and figure overall. Last but not least here, we have the Blaze. Now, in a set called the Blaze Bridge, you would assume, you know, some blazes would be included. You actually get two in this set, and they come with a new build compared to what you would find in something like the Nether Portal set. So yeah, this actually has a few Technic pieces that allows it to spin. Like the other one didn't have that feature. You can move around the little blaze rods, but it couldn't really spin on its own. And I think this is a pretty good change. Obviously, having this sticking out is a little distracting when I first saw it, but you can get used to it. I think the feature to where it spins and has all this freedom is a good inclusion, enough to where, you know, this isn't really that much of a bother. But yeah, this new Blaze build is pretty nice. Obviously it has a one anti-stut attachment, seeing that these guys are typically floating and don't really need to be touching the ground. But yeah, obviously the Blaze printing on the head is very nice, it works. You get two of these guys and it's a pretty fitting inclusion, I would say. But alright, now moving on to the build. Now when it comes to the build, there is a lot to be had, a lot of small little details and things like that, so let's get right into it. Now we're going to start off from the left and then move our way to the right. Over here in the left we have a little bit of a lava fall leading down here to where you can see a little bit of a patch of both mushrooms and nether wart down here. The brown plates here obviously meant to represent soul sand, seeing that nether wart can only be placed on soul sand, so that works. And if you see behind this blaze right here, you can see a little bit of magma blocks as well. And not to mention this new piece that got introduced in the Pirate Adventure set. This is a pretty nice piece to get. You get two of these actually. It can be represented as a, obviously seen in the Pirate Adventure set, a mob being on fire during the daytime, or maybe even a character. So it's a really useful piece. Heard it came from Chima, just recolored to obviously orange instead of blue. Either way, it's a very good inclusion. And being able to get two more through this set is a very huge plus for me. But so yeah, really neat there. If you take a closer look underneath all the either nether brick or nether rack, you can see a low glowstone right there, just hanging from the ceiling, and just a little bit more of a lava pool down here. Now moving up to the top up here, you can see a bit more detail, a bit more stuff. Obviously the Wither Skeleton, that's just there. You can move them around anywhere. You can see some brown mushrooms growing up here. And if you take a closer look, you can see a little Technic pin here. Now what this is actually a gravel falling feature. If you push this piece backwards, you can actually have all the gravel fall to the bottom. Let me give you a better look. And there it goes. It all goes falling. Obviously, in the past, you'd see like gravel patches just floating in another. I think there's a little bit of a reference to that, and obviously that gravel definitely reacts to gravity, unlike most blocks in Minecraft. But I think it's a pretty neat play feature, obviously, seeing that how they're loosely placed. When you're moving this around, it could be quite annoying. But you just attach them the same way you detach them. Push it forward, have them there. It's a little distracting with this blue pin here, but overall I think it fits the environment pretty well. And if you're not a fan of how it looks, you can always remove it and not just have it there. If you look at the back, you can see a little bit more nether structure. Here we have a nether quartz and a bit more gravel back there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the left side. Now moving on to the right, I'd argue this side has a little bit more significant stuff. Instead of having small stuff spread around, it has more of the bigger things included in the set. So first off, next to Alex, you can obviously see a torch there. Not too big of a deal, we've seen them before. And here we actually get a cauldron build, which is pretty nice. It has studs in there, meant to represent water, obviously. As you know, you can't really take water into another. It'll instantly evaporate, unless it's in a cauldron, because I guess it's very good for holding waters. So yeah, and you might wonder why they need water. Obviously, Alex here is making potions. You can see a brewing stand back here. It seems that she is making both a strength and a poison potion, just given the colors. The darker red usually means strength, and the green we usually relate it to poison. So yeah, these potions are actually made by using a transparent minifigure head, which I always found neat, and never mind getting more of these. So, and obviously to top it all off, they use these little attachments up top to give it that bottle look. So yeah, pretty neat inclusion, and it's never bad to get a brewing stand build, especially since they're not very common either. Moving on top here, we take a closer look at another fortress bridge, and obviously at the end of it, it has a blaze spawner. Now this spawner in particular is different from the spawner we've gone before. Instead of having a little mob in the center of it like the zombie spawner, it actually is just a solid build with a little bit of a transparent attachment that actually makes the blaze here appear that it's floating, which is a very neat feature actually. The spawner itself, I'm not a fan of. I know the other one was oversized and too big. This one's a lot more accurate, and obviously you can do more with it, such as this, per se, but just aesthetically, I prefer the older one. That doesn't mean that LEGO didn't do a good job with this one. As you can see, along with having an attachment there for the place to appear like it's floating, in the back here, behind all the nether bridge build, you actually see a little bit of a mechanism here that if you spin it around, it actually moves the blaze itself and makes it look like he's actually, doing these movements himself, even though you can see the transparent piece. It's not meant to be there, so you get the idea. It does this because there's a little bit of a technical structure down here in the build. Something about this nether bridge that I didn't like when it came out is I feel like it's too thin. Like, let me get Alex down here. She can barely fit. Obviously, it's enough for her to fit, so you can see that as a positive, you can see that as a negative, but I feel like they usually are a bit wider when you're crossing the bridge and have more room to work with. That's just a small little nitpick though. The actual bridge build back here, it looks very accurate. Obviously a little bit more fences back here to give it that actual accurate look, but overall I think it looks really good. But in spite of that, they actually added a little chest here as a reward that you get, I assume, when you defeat this fortress. So if you open it up, it slides easily in and out with that little gap there. You can actually see some diamonds and gold bars included in there, which is a pretty nice feature as well. Not bad. You get a little bit of reward and some pretty neat ones in there as well. But yeah, that's pretty much everything included in this set. Obviously there's a little bit like a lava falls that lead into this lava pool, a little bit of detailing in there, and another one of those new fire pieces I didn't point out. But for $30, I think you definitely get a good amount of value. If you miss out on the older Nether Fortress, I think it's not so an improvement, but maybe an alternative. I can definitely see the positive aspects of this. For me personally, like the size of the bridge and the spawner are a little bit of a disappointment, but you get a lot of neat stuff like the flame pieces, some nether warts, a brewing stand, and I think it's definitely worth its value, especially for almost 400 pieces. If you're into that price per piece, I think you definitely get your money's worth. Obviously these are mostly basic pieces as you expect from LEGO Minecraft, so it's nothing too outstanding, but overall I'm happy with it. It's better than I expected when I first took a look at it, I'll tell you that. But yes guys, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed, you know what to do. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time. Have a nice day.